So first of all, thank you for inviting me for this talk. I'm really excited to be here with you and have the chance to talk with young people who has interest in technology. Today I want to talk about changing the world with technology by firstly changing our mindset. My name is Didem Broo. I'm a research associate at the University of Cambridge at the Department of Engineering. By education, I'm a computer scientist and I hold PhD in mechatronics. So clearly I love talking about technology and future and emerging technologies and so on. So my research is about mainly data science for intelligent and autonomous systems, which we call them sometimes cyber-physical systems. But more than that, more than being a computer scientist or data scientist, I always say that I am a concerned person who cares about the world, the nature. For that reason, my life is full of dilemmas. So one hand, I want to use data and new technologies, new tools. On the other hand, I get disappointed when social implications of them are not considered. I want more integration, more interaction, more insights, more data, and so on. But on the other hand, I don't want equality, diversity, inclusivity, or ethical principles to just disappear. Today, I want to talk with you about technology mainly, perhaps more specifically data and some mistakes that we do while we are working on data and developing new technological systems, new solutions. And I want to explain you how we can do better. So I will firstly start by a short history and look at series of industrial revolutions that changed the world really. The first industrial revolution was started when we discovered how mechanization, water, and steam power can help us to do all kinds of interesting things. Then from the 19th century into the 20th century, mass production, assembly lines, and electricity advanced manufacturing and production. We constructed a series of machines and workers in factories where identical items are assembled in a progressive manner. This is what we call assembly lines. It improved the productivity a lot. And this change enabled widespread adoption of technological systems. For that reason, we call this a technological revolution. Some people are talking about now we are doing technological revolution, but we were doing technological revolution centuries ago. Later, at the beginning of 1950s, the third industrial revolution brought semiconductors, computers, automation, and that one we called digital revolution. Today we are experiencing the fourth industrial revolution. It is about interconnected systems through some networking technologies, and it is evolving quite fast. We call that the fourth industrial revolution as one of the big disrupting revolutions, which is affecting every industry in every country, really. So I will use the word system a lot with this during this talk. I already started to use it actually. I want to give a brief definition of this word so we can have a common understanding of what does it mean. Systems or a system can be described as a set of things working together as parts of a mechanism or an interconnected network. Some also defines system as a group of interacting or interrelated elements that act according to set of rules to form a uniform, unified whole, let's say. And one example that you perhaps learned at some point in your education is our solar system. So the solar system is the gravitationally bound system of the sun and the objects that orbit around it. This is a natural system that we didn't engineer, but we also have a lot of other systems that are engineering products. Basic examples: cars are systems, computers are systems. Actually, today's cars have software as much as computers. We also have network of systems, like internet is a system which connects many computers, right? We sometimes call these network of systems or as systems of systems or ecosystems. So I will use these two words also, but I hope now it will be easy to understand what I'm talking about. If you don't, please ask me questions about this, okay? So I told you that now we are having the fourth industrial revolution, right? And we are engineering these interconnected systems, ecosystems. But what are these interconnected systems that I think that they are changing the world? Let me give you a few examples. These are the systems that I am so lucky to work with them, really, and I love working on them. And I hope they can be interesting for you. So maybe I can make some kind of contribution for the next generation engineering by convincing you that these are really interesting systems. So the first example is called integrated transport systems. Some calls it intelligent and integrated transport systems also. But the idea is that before we were only focusing on, for instance, building cars, and I told you a little bit about assembly lines. We were trying to build as fast as possible for different reasons. Today we are trying to find ways to connect cars and the buses and the trains and the traffic lights and so on. So the whole transportation system, instead of focusing building one car, we are trying to understand how we can integrate them with each other and what this can bring to this new world. Transport systems or these vehicles includes autonomous vehicles, for instance, cars or drones. We are working on drones for collecting data about environment or transport medication to rural areas. We build and integrate autonomous cars to get rid of traffic congestions, for instance. Another example is, instead of workers carrying heavy packages around a warehouse, today we are designing and developing autonomous warehouses where different types of robots collaborate to fulfill some tasks. We build smart factories, work on smart cities, smart infrastructure, so we can have better products and better services. These new systems have a few common characteristics. They are connected, they are autonomous, and they are intelligent. So what did change that now we can have this type of new systems? I say that these are new, these are interesting and so on, but why now, right? One important change is about networking technologies, like internet. Now we can connect things very easily. This was not very possible in the earlier revolutions that we talked about. We also have better computers, microcomputers that can be in very small sizes, and we can distribute them anywhere we need. Some calls this also Internet of Things through networking capabilities. And another advancement about technology is surely about the data. We collect, store, analyze a lot of data. I want to remember this one important thing. These connected, intelligent, autonomous systems was not part of our lives before. So we just started to develop these systems. You will learn to master these systems. You are the next generation who will already have this system somehow working, and you will master and perfect them. You will develop even better ones, hopefully. So today, there are not so many people in the world who are already working on these systems because they are new. What happens when you do things at the first time? Unfortunately, we know from the history that we do mistakes when we do things at the first time. Think about the first time you ride a bicycle, for instance. Let's be honest, you were not the master cyclist, right? We get better on things when we repeat them, we learn shortcuts, we learn how to do them better, we build some methods and then we follow this method. So things get easier and faster by doing this. This is one of the things that I work on, to understand how we can do things better and faster while we are developing these systems, and surely to do less mistakes, because these mistakes are costly. But let's see what happens when we do mistakes. So for instance, many calls data as the new oil. I'm not sure if you heard this before. It is quite common. I don't like this metaphor, and everywhere that I give talks, I repeat it. The oil-driven industry, the oil-driven revolution, fueled many industries and helped the world to advance. But the waste of this advancement, the greenhouse gases, and the effects on climate change is the biggest problem that is threatening basically the future of this world, isn't it? They say that data is the new oil. Like oil, data is also causing unexpected changes in the world. Some of them are good changes towards a better world, and I'm sure you heard about them, but some of them are not that good, and I hope you heard about them also. When we look at some instances, for instance, even the very mature technology providers who are leading this new revolution, which we call data-driven revolution sometimes, they are having difficulties to deal with the challenges around data. As a result, chatbots are turning to racists, autonomous cars are running red lights, artificial intelligence algorithms are using staggering amounts of computing power, and many are investing incredible amounts of money and time to just short-term solutions. So this is not a good way. I will not go in deep analysis and give you some technical or technology-related list of difficulties that we are facing today. But I hope that I convince you that we are now opening the doors to a new world. It's a very exciting world. We are engineering systems that we were not able to do before. And at the same time, we need to learn fast, do less mistakes, because we cannot continue to use technology to solve one problem, but then create 2 other new problems for the next generations to solve. I hope that you will do things better than us, and that can only be possible if you become people who are different than us, and perhaps even better than us. So I always tell to my students that we need to change our mindsets, think differently, act differently. And today will not be any different. Perhaps you are younger than most of my students, but I know that you are all very smart, and I think you should know what skills are necessary, what can make the world another place. Firstly, I think you should be able to identify systems and ecosystems better than older generations. Now we are building these connected systems. I told you that. When one of these systems fails, then it affects the rest of the system, right? If there was no connection between them, then there will not be any problem. But now we know that the direction for the future is this. There will be connections. So the world that you will provide solutions will be already connected, and you should be having this mindset and skills to see how different systems are connected what are the components of different systems, how they are interacting with each other. So you can know it and understand it even earlier than what we learned and understood, for instance, about the oil. We thought that we can just pump the oil from the ground and everything will be fine probably. But it was not like that, right? It affected the whole ecosystem and so on. It is similar with the technologies. There has been many platforms that we thought that it is only to bring the friends together. But then we learned that no, actually it was doing more than that. So you should ask important questions and you should not hesitate to give difficult answers. If you remember one thing about this talk, I really want you to remember this one. Always ask why and never hesitate to say no. You need to be critical and ask questions relentlessly. What is the problem? Who are the people that are affected by this problem? What are their expectations? How can I help? What system is part of this problem? And how my solutions will fit with the rest of the system and so on. There has been so many mistakes in history because people did what they have been asked to do instead of asking why. Why should I do that? And also people were not so brave to say no, even they know that the implementations, the developments that they build could end up really dangerous. If there were brave people who said no, we wouldn't have unjust algorithms everywhere today, for instance. You should listen to, relate to, and care for others better than what we do today. And these others are not only your family, your friends, your future colleagues, but I'm talking about people perhaps who lives at the other end of the world. Because the systems that you will build or work on will affect people one way or other. If you became a software developer, for instance, who cares about diversity, your products will benefit people who are different than you. If you don't care, the products will not fit them. And even worst case, it can even harm them. So listening to others' viewpoints, relating to the world, their worlds, and caring for people that you don't even know will make you the best candidates for this world that you can create. And we can say that now we are living in a better world. And you should be flexible to easily adapt to rapidly changing world. The generations before me, for instance, were working for the same company for 30 years, 40 years. I have studied and worked on 6, 7 different countries. I lost count of how many different universities and companies I worked. You will have this even faster with more companies, more places and so on. You will not even only work in different roles, but in different companies, but also in different sectors maybe. The technology is advancing, it is very fast. So the companies are also changing very fast. You will work on topics that we did not name them yet. And I find this very exciting. Your work descriptions will change so fast and so on. So one thing that you need to be prepared is about the change. You will see this more fast than what we have seen. And this is why, in addition to learning technical skills, which is wonderful, you will need to be flexible, you need to be creative, you need to be critical, and also caring individuals. And this is not only important for you to be successful and happy people, but also important for the world, because we will leave you a lot of open doors with exciting futures, exciting systems, and so on. But as we discussed, they will not be perfect. While there are great things to learn from people who are older than you, there are also a lot of differences between you and them. I hope that you will be more brave, more creative, more caring than us. And I hope you can transform these connected, intelligent, autonomous systems of today to some amazing machines devices, software that will make the world a better place, where we will have healthy oceans, happy animals, no hungry people, where everyone will have equal chance to be the best versions of themselves, get the education that they deserve, and have the future that they dream. So when I get older, I can enjoy the world that you build. And who knows, perhaps with some cute robots taking care of me. And I really hope they don't do mistakes, because today they do lots of mistakes. So thank you very much for listening to me. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks.
Thank you. If you have any questions, please do write them in a chat or ask. And at first, I'd like to ask one question from myself. What do you think would be the most important thing to do if you care about people and you want to create products that benefit the underrepresented communities as well?
I mean, one of the most important things that we need to do is everyone needs to be in the room so we can hear people's different viewpoints. Unfortunately, many meeting rooms, many rooms that people take decisions about what products to design and develop misses people. And they are generally people who look like each other, who think similar, and then we have products that doesn't fit with all of us. So one very important thing that I think we need to be careful and always ask is to let people to be in the room. Some people doesn't have the chance to be in the companies. Some people don't have enough education to be somewhere because they didn't have the chance to get that. So I think if we make it priority to give everyone equal chance to be themselves and to be in the rooms one way or other, and ask them what they think, how they feel, what they need, then we can surely understand what kind of future systems we need. So representation, diversity, inclusivity, these are really important, I think.
Thank you.